Welcome to Comics Experiment, the show right here at Comicstorian where we bring you all kinds of interesting comic book, just fun games, information, and knowledge bombs on you every Saturday right here at Comicstorian. Streamed live over at twitch.tv/ElseWorlds on Thursdays, and it's brought over to our Patreon on Fridays for only the $1 tier, giving you early access to the discussions for it. Today's going to be a rather interesting episode. You see, Into the Spider-Verse just came out, but we're not going to talk about that today because we're going to do that another time. Today, we're going to talk about Elseworlds, the most greatest crossover to ever come into fruition and exist in its entirety on the CW network. And you read the title. I think it's better than Avengers. Oh, we're going to talk about
Shots fired.
And to make it more interesting, guys, we're going to do this in typical crossover fashion. It's going to be Comics Experiment meets CTV. Now, for those of you who don't remember, CTV was a short-lived show right here on YouTube where me, Gary, Dan, and Natalie would sit here and talk about the latest superhero TV shows. And a lot of you have wondered what happened to CTV. Well, the long story short is we discovered 2 podcasts actually damaged our analytics and made it so that other videos underperformed. And in order for our channel to do well, we couldn't do 2 podcasts. So, CTV has actually lived on. It is streamed every Monday over on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/EligibleMonster, and it is also brought over to our Patreon every Tuesday, Wednesday, once the editing is complete. So if you want to support us and you want to see CTV, you can see it live on Twitch or go over to our Patreon. We still film it, and that's kind of why we wanted to do a crossover with Comics Experiment, to make you aware that that show still fully 100% exists. Also, today's episode is brought to you by 4Hims. If you're looking for sexual wellness, amazing skincare, and healthy hair, then go to 4hims.com/RobinBenny. Did I get it right?
I do believe
I did get
so.
it right. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in the middle of today's show. Now, let's go over to our crossover guests. Sitting in the Flash corner, we have Grant Gustin. Sitting in the Supergirl corner, we have Supergirl. Sitting in the Arrow corner, he's running on set, we have Gary.
I was wondering where the chair was for him. I didn't see it over there. So like I've been sitting here kind of like sneakily looking around like, where's Gary gonna sit?
He was actually just going to squat the
Just
whole
squat the whole
time.
time?
Okay, so before we go an hour into this, and I have nothing but comments
Gary?
of people responding to my initial comment. Yeah, Gary, you moved the...
No, I didn't.
I do want to state, I legit believe the title is accurate. I found Elseworlds more fun and interesting than Avengers. Now, that's not to say that I think Avengers is a bad movie. That's not to say that I feel I still would give that movie a 9 out of 10. And now you're wondering, why would Benny only give it a 9 out of 10? And we'll talk about this during today's podcast. But my feelings of the Avengers movie are that as a standalone movie, it fails horribly. And we'll talk about that today as to why I feel Elseworlds does a better job. Okay, I started off with a heavy foot. Let's do this. So in my opinion, Elseworlds 10 out of 10, Avengers Infinity War 9 out of 10. What do you think, Rob?
Hold on. Okay, I thought you meant like the first Avengers movie.
No. I'm going with Infinity War.
Infinity
Oh,
War.
Infinity War.
War.
Well, you're wrong, and let me tell you why you're wrong. All right. No, Elseworlds is good. It's entertaining. The only real benefit. Elseworlds was world building.
Yes.
That's what Elseworlds was. Elseworlds was building up the CW universe, TV show universe, dropping a ton of Easter eggs and saying there's more than just Flash, Green Arrow, and Supergirl. Mm-hmm. And that's cool. Does it compare to Infinity War? Not a chance.
Okay.
Like Infinity War is just better.
The cinematography, obviously, Infinity War is better. They have a humongous
course,
budget.
yeah.
Okay, special effects 10 times better in Infinity War.
Yeah.
My problem with Infinity War, and I've never really clearly said this in any of our shows, I love Infinity War. My problem with Infinity War is if you have not seen every single movie, there are segments of Infinity War you will not understand.
But that's what makes it so great, though, is the payoff.
It's a great payoff for us MCU fans. It is. It's an accomplishment beyond belief that they did 10 years and built to this movie. I don't even deny that.
Yeah.
But what I dislike about it is like Natalie didn't get to see Black Panther because Black Panther came out when she was sick and she never really got a chance to catch it. So when we went to see the movie, half the Wakanda segments she didn't understand.
Yeah.
Now the counter argument to me stating that, because I actually spoke to Dylan, his counter argument was, why would you see Infinity War if you hadn't seen the other movies?
That's a good question.
My response to that is Infinity War did like $2 billion. You cannot tell me every single one of those people watched every single MCU movie.
Okay, that's a good point. But it is like it's like walking into a comic book store and picking up a comic book about Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like, I want to read Iron Man, so I'm going to pick up this comic, not understanding exactly what you're reading, but it gives you a desire to figure out what's going on.
Right.
So you in turn go back and read the stuff that led up to it. So to me, that's kind of how I imagine people going into Infinity War felt. But Infinity War versus Elseworlds.
Hold on. Why are you thinking Dan's had something he's trying to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say, actually, I'm giving Elseworlds a 9 out of 10 for the same reason you're doing it for Infinity War.
Okay.
Because of the Supergirl episode where I felt it had stuff in it. I felt like the Arrow and the Flash episodes both, you didn't really need to know details into the individual shows that was not explained in the episodes, whereas the Supergirl had portions in it that I felt required you to have seen previous episodes of Supergirl to really understand what was going on.
Like, do you have an example?
Yeah,
Do you have
I haven't
an
watched
example?
Supergirl. I didn't feel lost.
The sister, I felt like they went very heavy into the sister and their relationship, and if you don't really know anything about the sister or about that, I felt like there was a lot of very...
but they did too with Barry Allen and his wife. I mean, there was the same like dynamic. They focused on the two of them a lot. Granted, it was on the Flash portion of the crossover.
Yeah.
The dynamic
But
between
I
her and her
feel
sister
like-
was on the Supergirl
I
portion
do
of the
feel like,
crossover.
though, at least, yes, I agree with that, but I felt like, because I actually did think of that as well as the Felicity with Oliver Queen.
Exactly.
I felt like the Supergirl went more into that portion than the other ones did, where it was more of like a kind of mention it, small explanation, move on.
Okay.
Whereas like half the episode of Supergirl went into her and the sister.
Let's talk about more of that when we actually get to the
Right.
Elseworlds discussion.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't want to go too much into it without a full-blown, I'm stating it out loud.
Yeah.
If you hadn't figured it out, spoiler warning,
Spoiler warning, guys.
that we are going to spoil Elseworlds, and if Rob and I's conversation continues, a lot of Infinity War.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Infinity War yet, I don't know what to tell you.
We're somehow going to spoil some other stuff as well. I mean, I don't know how.
Just this is your warning if you had not figured out that this is going to be a spoilerly episode.
Yeah. Okay, so if next year's CW event is as good as Elseworlds, I would give that a take over Infinity War. I would put that over Infinity War. The issue with Elseworlds is Elseworlds feels like the entirety of the Marvel Cinematic Universe leading up to Infinity War. That's essentially what it is. Like Infinity War and Avengers
this
War,
is not. This is not their Infinity War.
Yeah, this is not their Infinity War. This is this is simply just world building. Now, if you'd asked me that question, how does Elseworlds compare? Like, how does the effort to build in Elseworlds, how does the world building in Elseworlds compare to the world building in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I'd say it's way better. Because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you got small little things like Captain America's shield. Yeah. And you got small little things like Thor's hammer landing in New Mexico.
Yeah, well, the format limits them there. So you have seasons of storytelling that you can build on, that you can world build from.
Yeah, actually, real quick, I don't want to deny that I may feel the way I do, because I do, even the seasons I've disliked, I've watched a lot of Supergirl, Arrow, and Flash.
With movies,
not Supergirl's much, but
whereas with movies, I mean, you don't have anywhere near as much time
to
develop
normally I would
that kind of like world building.
Yeah, normally I would give you that, but the problem is you're talking about 10 years worth of movies spanning over 20-something films.
Right.
22 films. So with that, I would say, okay, then there's like you basically have a season of movies that's world building.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I think it becomes easier to world build. Now, when you're looking at them individually at the time they're making the film, yes.
That's what I'm saying. On a film-by-film basis, it's a lot more difficult to world build
but
much.
It's also they've sat down and they've said, we've planned this whole thing out. Like like when Iron Man 1 first came out, it was a crapshoot. Iron Man succeeded. Okay, let's work on a plan and build.
What are we going to do with this?
What are we going to do with this? Exactly. So they had all that time to plan where the Easter eggs were going to go, what all was going to happen. The Easter eggs in like not even really the Easter eggs, just like the world building aspect of, hey, these characters that you know from like Batman exist in this universe. And
they went insane.
Oh,
with that.
They did.
I feel like it was every 2 minutes we were getting a name drop or an image drop.
It was every 2 minutes because I kept getting messages on Discord of, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Batman, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, they're spoiling everything. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, Easter eggs everywhere.
That was me talking to Dan who hadn't seen it yet. And so I was trying to be excited to Dan, but I couldn't tell him what I was excited about.
I mean, it was characters, it was like names on doors, it was props, it was all over the place.
Yeah, it was a lot of, and so in that element, I would say yes, but again, like it's almost kind of comparing apples to oranges here, because it is.
I do agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the premise of
I
world
made a
building
really
versus the
clickbait
payload.
title, Rob.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, now, if we're talking about finished product quality,
Yes.
like the quality
That's
of the
kind of
finished
the message
product.
train.
Wow,
Yeah. I was not even being, because then it even goes into more.
that's wow.
I was excited.
You look
He
excited.
was very, very excited.
Yeah,
Can
you
we
look like a
move
person with
Aquaman,
Tourette's.
like over down there or something.
Is this better for you?
That's better. Yeah, he was,
Okay.
Aquaman was Mara was covering your face.
Cover my face. Oh, okay.
Can you see me now? Oh, there we go.
Yes, I can see.
Okay, finished product. Product's done. Looking at it for what it is. I still give it to Infinity War because
Well,
it was,
you
it
know
was
what though?
grander in scope.
Based on your previous statement, there's one thing we need to consider. We really can't look at how the payoff and how the buildup works for Infinity War or for Elseworlds until
the
we
next
see
one.
Crisis on Infinite Earths
Right.
and Endgame.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, spoilers. If we hadn't already mentioned.
But again, like Endgame is basically like.
But what I'm saying,
would be-
Endgame's the conclusion, and Endgame
Yeah.
will be the everything's done.
That's
But
the
that's
capstone.
what I'm saying. Like Avengers 4 and Endgame, or I'm sorry, Infinity War and Endgame, or like if Crisis on Infinite Earths were split in half.
Well, no,
is what
I-
those kind of.
well,
What those
no,
combine.
no. Well, what I'm saying is Crisis on Infinite Earth. Elseworlds is technically the beginning of
Yeah,
Crisis.
it
I would say the two of them
feels-
together is
See,
the
I
equivalent
thought
of comparing.
I felt like it was
like
more
part one and
prelude
part two.
because you learn what the monitor's doing. You learn like why it is that he goes to a person, gives them the book, and says, "Do whatever
I mean,
you
it's
want."
it's more like
you-
Crisis Part 1. Really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
I
building
can
up
see where
to it.
you're
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
from, but I never
I
really
mean,
saw it
Infinity
as-
War is technically just the first half of the Thanos story arc, and the second, you know what I mean? Like,
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically it's Thanos War. But
Yeah.
I was just thinking of. I'm looking at it from the perspective of how I would see a comic, and Elseworlds felt like a prelude issue. Right? It felt like
I would
Crisis on
give you
Infinite
that,
Earths
yeah.
issue number 0.
Okay,
Is
I can
how
see
it
that.
felt.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it felt to me. So
I mean, I don't deny. Like, there's so many things that are better in Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
I like to look at things from a story perspective and a lore perspective. You can have and fantastic looking movies. You can have amazing special effects. Seeing things like the Iron Man armor is incredible compared to Stephen Amell in the Flash outfit. What was
Oh
that?
yes, no, I actually
was
wanted
that?
to comment on that.
But yeah,
No,
what was that?
actually, I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on that.
You liked him in the outfit?
Stephen Amell looked amazing as the Flash.
Okay, we're-
See,
we-
I
no,
actually,
no, no.
okay, hold on.
Man,
I want to
Flash.
comment on
Dude,
that.
He looked like grizzled Punisher Flash.
I
liked him in that Flash outfit.
when I saw him in that, my first thought was, anyone can look cool in the Arrow outfit, but
Yes.
not everyone can pull off the
Yes.
Flash
No, I
outfit.
thought
Grant
he pulled
Gustin,
off the Flash
he pulled
outfit
off the
better.
Green Arrow
Oh,
outfit.
he looked
He-
amazing.
I was like, you know what? We should give this guy.
Yeah,
No, here's the
seriously,
thing. Here's the thing. I thought Stephen Amell looked better as the Flash than Grant Gustin did as Green Arrow.
So, okay, wait, hold on. Let me clarify what the
Yeah.
comments
I
are
really
going to
did.
state on this
Okay.
YouTube video.
Yeah, I
Yes,
really did.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Benny's opinion is shit. Rob's opinion is shit.
Yeah.
Dan's opinion is
Basically,
shit.
yeah.
Gary
This is what, Carrie, we like you. That's what it's all going to say.
Everyone's gonna be like, you disagree with me, therefore you're wrong.
yes.
You have
And luckily,
opinions.
everyone here is disagreeing with everyone,
Everyone has a
here.
different opinion. Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So-
let's officially move into Elseworlds.
Yes.
Okay.
My clickbait title aside, I gave my reasons, you gave your reasons. On all honesty, I can almost guarantee 9 times out of 10, everyone's going to agree with you. Infinity
Yeah.
War is because a lot of people look at the cinematography, the special effects, things
Yeah.
like that.
The budget, yeah.
The budget.
Well,
yeah.
it's grander in scope. It's shot with
Yeah.
a lot more money.
I do
There's,
agree.
there's,
Well,
there's
sure.
a lot. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
but,
sure.
But, looking-
but I
looking-
feel like with what they showed here, if we had the money, the budget, the scope, it could have been so much better. Elseworlds.
Well, if they,
but
Oh, God, yeah,
I
it
mean,
would've
if they
been
had
insane.
the budget, for an entire season for 3 episodes, yeah, sure.
yeah, it would have been nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would've been
it
great.
would have been insane.
So I mean, I don't deny. Like I'm not. For the record, I did make a clickbait title. I'm not saying Elseworlds Infinity War. I'm going like Elseworlds Infinity
Okay, what you're
War.
saying,
It's like that much difference.
you enjoyed Elseworlds a little more than you enjoyed.
When I watched,
I don't
let me
think-
say, when
hold
I
on.
watched Infinity War, I did sit there like, yeah, this is pretty cool. But Elseworlds, I was like, oh my god, Arkham! Oh my god, Batwoman! Oh my god, Batman! Oh my god!
I think a better way to say it would be, in terms of comparing it to their genre.
Yeah.
You rate Elseworlds higher
Sure.
on the meter than Infinity War on
And
the
even
meter.
then, only a little bit, right?
And only a little
very-
bit. And it's
yeah.
only
A little
because
bit,
of my
yeah.
overall reactions.
right.
Yes, his
and-
reactions were a lot more intense for Elseworlds.
And I won't even
Yes.
deny this. There's one more thing I want to state. Part of my reactions came out of I didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
While with
Yeah.
Infinity War,
That
I
was-
kind of saw most of what
Yes,
was happening.
that's
I think
true.
The
that's
nitty
very
gritty, the
true.
dialogue,
Yeah.
I didn't see, obviously. I didn't see Peter Quill doing what he did in Infinity War.
Yeah.
But like overall, I kind of knew what to expect.
Well, that's because the movies are pretty formulaic.
Exactly.
And they follow a formulaic pattern.
But
Absolutely.
Elseworlds, I had no idea any of this.
Episode 2 was bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man.
Episode 1. Okay, so let's,
So let's
Yeah,
start
episode
with
one.
the
let's start with
Flash.
episode 1.
Let's start with
Keep
Flash.
your opinions to episode 1.
I loved the number of times when Barry Allen would try to do the "You have failed this city."
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
that, and when we had
I liked Arrow doing it.
doing
doing
it,
it,
where,
yeah.
where he's like, "That's not your line."
Yeah.
I love how like iffy he was on it. He's like,
Yeah.
you have failed this city.
my thought was when they took out Amazo, when Barry shot the arrow into Amazo, and he's like, "You have failed this city." I was like, "Okay, that dialogue made him miss his chance," and like Amazo was.
I thought it was right. He was going to miss too.
Happen.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And he was going to get coached on like when to use the line, when
Yeah,
not
exactly,
to use the
yeah.
line.
Yeah.
Like you don't
Yeah.
use it every time.
You could tell that he probably in like every scene they had one take where he was like, "You have failed this city." No, Grant, stop saying that.
Stop it.
Right off the bat, you could tell every one of the actors had a blast doing this.
Oh, sure.
Oh yeah.
Even from the
yeah.
moment that Stephen Amell woke up as the Flash with Iris, I
Yeah.
loved his awkwardness. Like, should we not
Okay.
tell Barry?
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I love Barry's reaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he's like having a great time, and he's like, "Wait, you woke up with Iris?"
Yeah, you
Yeah.
woke
It's
up
like,
with
We
Iris?
have to fix this.
You woke up with
That
my
is
wife?
that is a husband or like I mean
we're
that is
gonna
a
have to-
committed thing to say.
I loved how much fun
oh,
Barry
man.
was having, but Stephen
Yeah.
Amell was like, we really gotta work on this. And Barry's like, this is so much cool. Like, I'm
Yeah.
Arrow.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah.
I like what the Stephen Amell asked him when they were in Smallville. And
Yes.
Stephen Amell asked him, he's like, "So where did you hide the remote control arrows?" He's like, "Dude, come on, man." And then he's got them like hidden in the
you.
field.
Yes.
I've wanted to do that for so long.
Okay, so I loved the initial. One thing I really enjoyed and I thought would have ruined this is if they had to learn how to be each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love how we
Because that would have
immediately
been too much of
established-
like a full
Yes.
episode. Whereas this, they were just like, "Hey, you can do it, cool."
It's
Right.
more about
You
taking on the
can't do it.
mentality of the person
Yeah,
than,
and
than
it wasn't
actually, like,
even-
being the person.
But at the same time, it was good that they
didn't
they
know
couldn't master it, but they
Yes.
could do it.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about it. Like you can vibrate through walls. I can. Yeah. Here's how you do it. You know,
Yeah.
like you
right,
had to
it was
explain
through the episode that they slowly kind of learned how to be. each
Yeah,
other.
how to
But you
be
could
each
tell
other.
wasn't like
that
a
he
bad
couldn't
montage.
fully do it because he goes super far instead of just the classic Flash walking through.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
And I also loved like you can pop your joints. You have learned how to master
Yes.
popping your joints out. and
Your
things
ligaments
Yeah,
are stretched.
that was-
And then he just laughs at him and he's like, "I never realized how ridiculous I look like this."
That's thumb's just like
Look at
hanging
this
there.
And the CG thumb, it looks so bad,
was
but it's
bad.
just
It was
flopping
bad.
around.
Yeah.
All
But in the next
things-
scene, it
yeah.
was fine.
All the things that looked bad, like the thumb, like they looked bad in the best possible way.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, yeah.
What did you guys think about the overall? Like, okay, the I think we took 20 minutes to establish. We had like 10 minutes for each character. How did you guys feel about that? For them being in the opposing role.
Oh, it made sense to me. It was quick enough to show that something was off. It was also quick enough to show that like Barry thought it was cool. Yeah.
Right,
And
yeah.
then it
He's
was-
having a blast.
Yeah, and then it was
Yeah.
enough to show, okay, this is going to have to be fixed.
Yep.
But like it's not supposed to be this way.
Right.
Plus,
So-
it was also enough to tell they looked like the other person and they had been fully swapped, not they were inside the other one's body.
Right.
Yeah.
They were just flat out the opposite person. Yeah.
And I like
Yeah,
how
yeah.
they immediately established that. They were joking like, is it a Freaky Friday or a quantum leap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or quantum leap.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they, every
see
time they
myself
go,
in a mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
They should have used one of those lines. They should have said, "Oh boy," at some point. I'm just saying. As a Quantum Leap fan,
Oh, okay.
come on, guys. Quantum
I
Leap.
never got into quantum. Leap.
Every time he jumps into like another person's body in the past, he looks into a mirror and he's like, "Oh boy." That's how every episode ends.
Did
I never got it.
you
Yeah.
guys catch though that overall they were using this Elseworlds to confirm and deny a lot of like running theories we've had and things like that, like the old school. I know it's part of part 2 or
Okay.
3, but the Green Lantern line. But like things like, where's the toilet in the pipeline?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
kicks it. It's just
Yeah,
right there.
I'd always
Yeah.
wondered that too. Like, so they're just in there to rot.
Yeah.
Like, do they go on potty breaks? Like, do they walk?
Oh,
Now,
they
around?
missed
here's
the
a
total-
question. Here's a question you have to ask. Do Barry and them actually tell them the toilets are there?
That's what I was wondering. I mean, it looks like the wall. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
I really have to pee, and they're like, use the toilet, and they're like,
There's a
Where's the
toilet.
toilet?
Yes.
Actually, they put them in and they're like, here's your brochure. So you can't use your powers. There's a toilet here.
this
just
just
so you-
food.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
replicator. We stole it from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yes. One thing I really enjoyed was the characters obviously didn't fit in the universe they were in, or Oliver didn't fit into the Flash family necessarily. Like his whole attitude is tailored to his kind of world in a sense.
His vigilante,
that team, and you can tell that they were very uncomfortable in the other person's environment. They're like they didn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't know how to handle like a team that like gets all touchy-feely and like lovely.
Yes.
Like, he's like, I don't know how to handle this.
Do you not know how to fight without a pep talk before we go do it, Barry?
You can't
I bet you can't go
8
9 minutes without a pep talk.
or hours. It's like 9 hours.
Yeah, 9 hours without a pep talk. Yeah.
And he kind of has this. You can see, he's like, it's not true.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I loved about it because as watching Flash the whole way through that I have, like you get to see basically Oliver just make fun of what makes all the stuff that we make fun of about Flash.
Yeah.
Oliver is suddenly the audience's voice.
Yes.
Oh, that's a cool thing. Like he starts
Yeah.
giving a hard time about Iris, and he's like, "Are you kidding?" He was like, "Felicity, like she wrote the book on quarterbacking."
There's, oh my gosh, yeah, there was a lot of good stuff where I still wish, because we always talk about the Star Labs financial thing, if Oliver had made a comment of, how do you guys stay like running?
Stay open?
Like, how are you making money?
Or
to
you
fund
guys
all
owe me
this?
money.
Yes.
Or he said something like that.
Oh my gosh.
What I loved is that, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying about episode 3, where you felt Supergirl needed more explanation.
Yes.
What I loved about it is a lot of the things that needed explanation, they were able to explain because the other characters didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Case in
That's
point,
true, yeah.
Barry
Yeah.
went over to Star City. Oh, you were mayor? I was mayor?
Yeah.
Like, so they used that, in my opinion, as a way for individuals who hadn't seen Arrow.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
Oliver was mayor. Oh, cool. Like, you get these little tidbits.
Yeah.
That's how they were filling you in. That's why I don't think the sister situation was as big.
I feel like another component to that though was, and I'm going to say this again when we get to the Supergirl portion, is the complete change in tone of the episodes. Because Supergirl is very clearly a different show in terms of like the way it is structured and
Well,
the
they
way
had to
that it's
maintain the
paced.
theme of the show when they were
Exactly,
doing it,
and
so,
I
yeah.
think that kind of comboed with the sister of not watching any of Supergirl before.
Yeah.
I think that was a very big influencer on it because it very clearly was in the vibe and the tone of
Sure.
that show.
Yeah.
And I am very used to Flash being fast, being very, this is that, now let's go to do this. Whereas
Right.
Supergirl's
Supergirl is
kind
slower.
of,
It's
here's a
slower.
lot of this,
Yeah.
like here's the drama portion,
Yep.
small bit of action, here's the drama portion.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big component
the
in
tone
my...
of Flash and Green Arrow isn't all that different anyway.
Not anymore.
Between
I don't
the
think-
two
I don't-
of them.
not
I don't
anymore.
think you've seen
Yeah.
Supergirl's. Have you seen it on CW?
I have not seen Supergirl.
Okay. The original Supergirl was very much what you just described.
Yes.
Since then, it's become very much like Flash and Green Arrow.
Yeah.
The only hardcore difference I've ever been able to tell is it does have its girl power moments, which is warranted when it's Supergirl. But like of all the characters, like if Green Arrow was like, man, let's get Felicity a shot, I'd be like, what?
Yeah.
But Supergirl's like, no, yeah, girl empowerment makes sense. It's Supergirl.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the only tonal difference I've ever gotten when watching a Supergirl episode.
Yeah, give Felicity the hood and the bow and just be like,
That would be hilarious.
get on to it, girl. You got it.
She gets up. You have failed the city.
It's like, you are not a believable vigilante.
Yeah.
Whatever,
So-
girl.
Okay, so overall, I thought the first episode set up everything perfectly. I just want to go a little bit episode by episode, then we're just going to go all in on everything we love.
Also,
Okay?
can we quickly... I just want to say one thing. When you said the Supergirl, I kind of wish Batwoman had a show right now because it would have been great to see Kara and Kate swapped bodies.
Oh, God, that would be cool.
I was kind of wishing that had
Yes.
happened once they did the World's
Yeah.
Finest line.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or
Okay.
That-
just because you said that Legends made a comment that they missed the crossover.
Yes, they just
they
cut. The very beginning of the show, they walk onto the ship and they're like, missed call from Kara Danvers, Oliver Queen, and Barry Allen. And they're like, oh, must be the annual crossover. That was the only mention to
Wow.
the
Yeah.
entire thing.
But,
Yeah.
but I also love that they made a comment of that with Flash and Supergirl. They're like, this is becoming like an annual thing.
Yeah.
But what I thought would have actually been better and a good way to incorporate Kara and White Canary if they had swapped.
That would have worked.
Oh, you mean Sarah Lance?
Yeah, White
Yeah,
Canary.
The reason why
They
is...
changed her name again?
Sorry, they never refer to her as that.
Oh, okay.
She's always Captain Lance, Sarah Lance.
Okay.
stuff
Yeah, but it's
like-
White
Okay.
Canary, man.
See,
Yeah.
In terms of Legends of Tomorrow, though, but like the reasoning why, and this is actually why Legends wasn't in the whole thing, is in the previous episode, Constantine fully changed the past. So it changed the entire future of everything that was going on, which gave them just a very funny episode of them trying to fix it without properly fixing it, and it just kept screwing things over. But in the main one where they reference it must have been the annual crossover, she's dead.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So it just didn't really incorporate to what the Legends team wanted to do.
The Legends team.
Okay, but she also couldn't have she couldn't have swapped because it was only Earth 1.
Yeah.
Only Earth 1 got
They're
affected
kind of
like
separated
that. Yeah.
from all of it at this point. I think the big reasons for Legends 1 made for a tighter 3-episode arc.
Yeah.
2, it probably would have just been a lot to explain right now with what Legends is going on.
Yeah.
Legends is
Yeah,
very
that's
clearly doing its own thing. Plus, part of me thinks that because they're in time travel, they might use that as an excuse as to why Nora wasn't there. I don't remember seeing Nora.
She wasn't at all.
And I think they might incorporate the time and possibly
She
mention
had.
something.
Technically, yeah. The episode before that, she was back in the
She was
future.
in the
again.
future,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if they'll reference the fact. I mean,
She'll
they
come back and be
probably
like, what
won't.
did I miss?
Something like that, or I couldn't come back because there was something wrong with the timeline,
there you go.
which would relate
Yeah.
to Legends of Tomorrow as to why she wasn't there for the entire event. Because at first I was like, oh, well, clearly she's in the future, therefore
Or
she
all
can't
the-
come
all
back.
the-
But then I was like, but
Well-
time travel, she would come back at the exact
All
same
of the universe warping could have affected that as well.
Yeah.
Well, one thing
Yeah.
that I noticed is both shows didn't really go with their extra supported cast.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Arrow didn't have like Wild Dog in it and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's on that. He's still on that show. We didn't get Dinah Lance. We didn't get any of the.
Yeah, you
additional-
get like a slight mention of her.
You
but
get
that
a
was
Wild
about
Dog mention, but same thing with Nora. We didn't get Nora.
Yep.
We didn't. Did get Killer Frost. We did get Cisco. But they're more core. Cast.
Yeah, it's the core
Sydney
cast.
was
It
in
was
there a
just
little bit,
core
yeah.
of all of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. I mean, you got to keep the roster small.
Yeah,
you
that's
gotta-
just it. That's
it's a
also
huge
why I think
crossover,
Legends
yeah.
wasn't involved because Legends themselves is a huge cast.
Yes.
So now you've got to get all those heroes and you got to give them all
Yep.
screen time.
Yep.
Yep.
Equal
Your,
time. Yeah.
your story's now going to get lengthened up. So now we got to get everyone flown to.
Plus,
this
it
one
was
spot.
good.
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been a poorer event if they had to stretch it out for another hour.
I agree with you on that one too. And I mean overall, the chat is going on like the real. We were aware the real reason Legends wasn't there is budgetary. They have so much going on. They wanted to keep it tight.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
But like story wise, maybe the writers' room was like, "Hey, we're doing this, and we got to
Yeah.
push this to make it work with your like."
Well, plus, what would the Legends have done?
It wouldn't have changed much other
Yeah.
than if they had a swap Kara and White Canary, probably would have been its own solo episode of very similar to Arrow and Flash. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it also would have had some. Part of me felt like Legends being a part of it could have nullified a lot of things, where they'd be like, "Oh, well, let's just go back to when he gave him the book. and
Let's fix all
grab
this,
it there."
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that would be the
exactly,
question
yeah.
people would have. Like, well,
Yeah.
why don't they just, why don't they go back to the
back in
moment when the monitor gave, Deegan or whatever
Exactly.
it was, the book,
Yeah.
and then just stop him.
can I have that back?
We
it wouldn't
solved
have-
the whole thing.
Right, it
Like,
wouldn't
it's-
Exactly.
The only thing it would have altered was a couple days.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like it's going to alter 20 years of history.
Or go back
Yeah.
in time and capture Deegan when he ran away after Kara got the book. Of
Which
Life.
actually, now that I think about it, between like from what we saw in the second and the third episode, learning the true purpose of the monitor and so on and so forth, that actually would not have been the worst idea. That like the Legends go back in time and stop the monitor from what he did, only to find out they just screwed everything up. It's like this was supposed to be a place of testing, and like now you've destroyed the multiverse.
Yes.
You've doomed everybody
Yep.
to die.
Yep.
Like that would have been kind of cool.
Speaking
That
of
would've been
time
interesting.
travel, am I the only one that got slightly annoyed about the? If we run across the world,
Oh,
and
that's
fly across-
not how time works.
Yes, I was like, no, that would just screw
That was,
everyone over
that
by
was a nod.
slowing down
Okay, that was a nod to
the movie.
Superman. Yes,
Yes.
that's all that was.
And also,
That-
my biggest problem, and this is just me nitpicking, I always hate when they show both of them circling the planet. Flash is always in a straight line, but when they go on Flash, he's like steering around everything
Well,
and going
he's
on.
in
roads.
a straight line relative to your perception.
To the size. of
Yeah, to the side. Yeah. So as
yeah.
far as you see, it's just a red straight line. But when you get a little bit closer,
It's still just one of those ones where
Yes,
it's.
that's true.
But yeah,
So that was me nitpicking.
Okay, so let's do our quick overview of episode 2.
yeah. Episode
Okay.
2 was a great episode, Easter egg episode.
I've got
it
Easter eggs
was.
pulled up, so we're going to
Yeah.
go through all the best Easter eggs
So,
of the crossover.
Yeah.
Remind me what happened in episode 2, because I watched all 3 back to back.
Okay.
I did too. I did
So
too. Yeah.
episode 1 ended with we took out Amazo, and they got the note, the drawing which showed Wayne Towers in the background. They're going to Gotham.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then they
And
have
then we panned
Supergirl,
up. We
or
saw
Batgirl.
Batwoman on top of the tower, and we can go into
Batwoman. That's what it is.
Best
Can I just
outfit.
okay? I just want to say that the Arrow episode was the perfect episode to put Gotham in.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it fit the tone, it fit
Oh my
Arrow.
God.
Dude,
Okay.
Are you talking about like the original Vigilante?
The Vigilante.
Oh my God.
I love
He's just a myth.
High five,
He's just
man.
a
High
myth.
five. Dude, I love that.
within I think the first 10 minutes, we established Batman,
Yep.
explained
Yeah.
why he hadn't been
Yep.
around, explained
Yeah.
how he hadn't why they hadn't called him, and they also explained like retconned him to being before Oliver.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
in like a back and forth of a couple minutes, and I love that Barry was the fanboy and Oliver was the skeptic.
Which
Yes.
actually,
Like the original Vigilante.
I feel like a lot of these had a lot of throwbacks to the movies, like we were just saying with the Superman movie of the slowing time, but also the he's just a myth goes back to the animated movie of the New 52 starting, where Hal Jordan Green Lantern thinks he's just a myth, but
Yeah.
Flash is like, oh my God, like he's actually a
Yeah.
thing. And
Well, also don't forget like the Mask of Bane.
I saw that on the
Oh,
shelf.
yeah.
On the shelf, yeah.
Yeah.
God, the number of
Freeze is
Easter eggs.
gone.
in-
No, dude, it was,
Okay,
oh, it was
yeah.
insane.
The number of
Yeah.
Easter eggs,
Yeah.
like, give me your favorites, but we're gonna go over a list that I pulled up from Rotten
Oh,
Tomatoes
dude,
of the
Victor
best.
Freeze. Victor Freeze's
Victor
gun.
Freeze
Yes.
is great.
Victor
Yep.
Freeze's gun. Yeah,
Yep.
Nora Freeze putting it together. Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
I
That was
love
cool.
I loved the bat signal.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was like a nice
You
little.
still think he's
Yeah.
a myth?
Yeah.
He's a myth.
Yeah, he's a myth. He's a myth. What I also loved about this is they gave you enough information that I am 100% legit interested in the Batwoman show.
Yes.
yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Batman's been
Oh my
missing. We're
gosh.
rebuilding.
Okay, and here's the thing.
Absolutely.
I disagree with you on Ruby Rose. I love the way she looked in that Batwoman
Did you?
costume. Yes,
I
I
just
love the way she
I loved
looks.
everything about it except the cowl.
I am
just
not
want
against the cowl.
I want this
Interesting.
mask. This
Yeah.
one right here.
Oh, I know
the
you do,
mask goes
but
here,
I am-
you can see her forehead.
I
I
am not
thought it
against
was
the
good
cowl.
like that because they. I liked the difference that it was clear that the red hair was on the mask
Instead
Okay.
of on her.
instead of
Yeah.
actually being her hair. Because I feel like with hair that color, if you have it in normal life, you're gonna know who
Your
it
hair is
But having
exactly
her-
the same color. as
Exactly,
Batwoman.
like it's such a very
It's always been
vibrant
kind of like
color.
it's kind of like the Clark Kent and the glasses thing with
Yeah.
her and the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, so this version is a little shorter here. Yeah, you're totally not Batwoman.
But no, I mean,
Exactly.
in the comics, the hair's a wig.
Right? No,
You know-
no. But
This one,
but
it was
there's
clearly
I don't know
part
if it's
of the
still
mask.
going on, but there's a period where her normal hair is the same color.
Yeah.
But it's a short cut.
Oh, yeah.
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 So it's like
I gotta make sure it matches. You know, if you see this area, you
It's
gotta-
like,
Yeah,
no,
you gotta- is that blonde?
are you just wearing
What is this?
extensions?
you're wearing a wig. I'm trying to stop you. Stop focusing on my hair.
She was super, super good. As
Yeah,
Batwoman.
and
was
she
great in the
looks
role.
fantastic as
She
Batwoman.
I loved
looked
her
amazing.
introduction as Batwoman, smashing the car,
Yes.
just landing on it. It was such a Batman thing to do. But
Well,
Yeah,
the guy
it was.
getting like pulled out of the car, that was classic Batman.
Yeah.
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 It
Yeah,
it was
definitely
solid.
felt like
Yeah.
this is Batman. We can't use Batman. It's Batwoman
It's
who
true.
is exactly Batman.
We can't use
which
Batman.
made it so great.
That's
Right,
Yeah, it
but,
did.
but
It
there
was-
was enough about Kate Kane that you're like when she was in the suit and in the comics, she's just like that. She's basically Batman.
yeah.
Yeah.
But there was enough Kate Kane to make me go, this is going to be different. And the
Yes.
plot you're
Yep.
putting forward, the idea
Yep.
of Batman missing
Yeah.
and Bruce Wayne missing, and you don't even know where he is, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yes,
really
I
curious.
loved that they instantly referenced that both Bruce Wayne is gone and Batman disappeared. Like it wasn't just like he's
Bruce
not
Wayne
here,
stopped
but-
being Batman.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
like, oh, Bruce Wayne, he disappeared 3 years
Yeah,
ago.
they're like
Right.
3 years ago, and I'm like, what?
To which
Yeah,
when they said
exactly.
that, I was like, when did Arrows start? But sadly,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Yeah,
7
yeah,
years
yeah.
ago.
Well,
Well, yeah,
no,
but
I
that's-
think that ties into Arrow's timeline because if you go with Arrow, because Batman would have to be before Arrow, and I think they made references to Wayne and Bruce and all that.
Well, yeah, it was like 3 seasons ago. He's like, I'm not Bruce Wayne from Gotham, or,
Yeah.
something along
Yeah.
those lines. Yeah,
so they were
references and-
establishing Bruce Wayne existed, but we weren't doing much beyond that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
They did not hold back.
No, and
Yeah.
that's
And
what I
that was
loved
what
about
made it
this.
great.
It felt like a crossover to Batwoman.
It did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Yeah.
see that's why I say like that's the world building element that I'm
Yes.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you sit down and you watch this episode and they go to Arkham Asylum. Oh, wait a minute. All right, Roger Hayden,
Which one is he?
Psycho Pirate.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know. Which one,
I don't
Can
know
you
his
guys-
main name.
okay,
I just know
okay.
Psycho Pirate.
Can we explain
Dude.
him?
The non-comic guy, yes, explain him.
Psycho Pirate is a guy who wears a mask called Medusa's mask and it manipulates emotions. So he can
Okay.
basically drive you insane. He can make you exceedingly happy. He can make you exceedingly sad. But it's just a psychological effect on you.
But recently, the comics have kind of slightly retconned it, almost like Molecule Man, where they made it more powerful.
Yeah.
Psycho Pirate's mask has been shown on the way past to do a couple of these things, but more recently it's become like, no, it can do it. It can manipulate reality and change the multiverse. Like he can see through into other multiversal universes.
Hold on, when did they
It's
change
basically
That's what's going
mixed
on with the Doomsday
vibe,
Clock. That's
in a way.
how the button
What?
is making the mask function.
It's kind of
He's
like
done that before, but it was always kind of like a weird middle ground. Yeah,
It's like
I was gonna
vibe.
say it's basically like Vibe's power of going through the dimensions, but instead he can see through them.
right,
Yeah.
and,
And I
that's
think
and
that's
that's
tapping
why
into, tapping into the same kind of.
he became more crazy
energy.
recently because he could see all of his various deaths by looking through the multiverse, and that was
okay.
where a lot of it. If I'm remembering correctly, Psychopirate's not exactly a big name that I've got all
No,
this
it
knowledge
is
of.
not.
Yeah, he was a big name during Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
really where he made like the big name for himself. Is during
Yeah.
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
God, the line.
But his mask is
Yeah,
allowing
many
him to
worlds
see
will
the
die, and yeah.
Because you got to think, if you take Deegan in his current state, apparently he's been confirmed to be a villain that I didn't even know existed. I'll pull his name up in a second.
Huh.
But he's been confirmed to be a villain who messes with timelines, and you combine it with a guy that can see timelines.
You know, actually,
He's not Time Trapper, is he?
No,
here's
So he's
a-
been imbued with the power of the book.
So here's another thing
Basically.
actually that was funny about Deegan and the
Okay.
actor that they chose. So I
Yeah.
recently watched Constantine, which they're using the same actor from Constantine in Legends of Tomorrow, which is implying that Constantine is in the same universe.
Yeah.
In Constantine, that actor who plays Deegan actually is in the show. He is one of Constantine's friends that he goes inside almost a alternate reality where that character manipulates the world and overpowers the person who is creating the reality in that world. So I thought it was perfect to use his actor. They did not use the same name. I actually went to
Dr.
IMDb
Destiny
to
is
change.
his real name.
Well, I
the
don't.
villain's name now.
I wasn't sure if they used him in the same character's name in Constantine.
Well, Constantine got confirmed not in this season. He got confirmed in Arrow season 4 with the magic.
That it is the same.
Oh yeah, that was
universe,
like the
though.
first episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was probably the most bullshit island storyline in Arrow.
Yeah.
But there was a storyline in Arrow in season 4 where apparently on the island he met Constantine,
Yeah.
and Constantine helped him fight the devil. But we're just not going to mention that.
Yeah.
But it was perfect that they used that actor who in the Constantine show manipulated the world in this extra world, basically doing what he did with the book, which I thought was a great little, I'm not sure if it was intentional or not, but I thought it was a great nod back of going, this guy is clearly capable of creating realities, manipulating things, and having the mindset to do as such. And I'm not sure if it was purpose.
No, they're saying it's not the same guy, same actor.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Is that it was the same actor, which I
Right,
thought was like
right.
a nice little Easter egg of
Yeah.
he manipulated the universe in Constantine. They used the same actor. He manipulates the universe in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's move on to the last episode so we can just go all in on these Easter eggs, okay?
Okay.
The Supergirl episode. This is what you felt was the weakest?
I did, and I think I just don't like the vibe of Supergirl. I did not like that it followed up on the other ones because I felt like I was getting hyped. I was hyped, and then I kind of stagnated a little.
What I found weird about Supergirl, and this is my only complaint about what was happening there. I love it. Supergirl was basically Kara and her sister getting reconnected, but mostly it felt like a Superman episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like
It really
his
did.
send off
Yeah.
and stuff like that, which
Yeah.
I really did like about it because it was like a capper on the entire event because Superman fighting it out, Superman working with Supergirl, them having to do Crisis on Infinite Earth stuff, go around time,
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
burn up, Superman saying goodbye. The whole epilogue was like 10 minutes of him being like, I'm retiring.
It did
Oh,
feel
that's-
more Superman than Supergirl.
Yeah, which I
did.
felt was weird because I have fallen off of Supergirl. I fell off midway through season 2. But as far as I was still tracking, it was still primarily Supergirl. Like Superman wasn't
Oh, yeah.
prominent.
That was the other thing too that made sense because like Lois Lane's gonna have a kid.
Yep.
So okay, so there's Jonathan Kent. So no, I mean no things like that make sense because here's the biggest problem that Supergirl has. At the end of the day, it does like Superman exists in the Supergirl universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
People want to see Superman.
They do.
So-
And then ever since they established it in season 2.
Ever since they
it's been a
established that,
problem.
yeah. And so, like, people are like, well, when do we get to see Superman? Even if he just teams up, when do we get to see Superman? And so when they come along and they say Superman is gone now, then it's
They-
like, it's only Supergirl.
They would have had the same problem with Batman.
Exactly, yeah. They would
If
have.
Batman shows up even once, it's all about.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why they kind of wrote him out as
Yeah.
well. He's been missing for however many years. And they would have done the same thing with Superman had they not introduced him in the second season.
Yep.
They would have done the same thing here. Well, he's been missing. And you could, and that's a great thing. You could bring them both back and say, well, it was basically like, it's the world's finest miniseries. And, and it basically turns out to be DC Generations, where it's just Batman and Superman fighting through the years. So, yeah, I don't know. But nonetheless, yeah, that's the biggest problem that Supergirl has at the moment. Having said that, I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was solid.
I did like
solid.
that in the, I think it was the Flash episode, because I don't know anything about the Supergirl, I like that they immediately referenced, she's on a different Earth, they don't have a Superman and Supergirl on Earth 1. It is now clear, like they go to the different multiverse, the different Earth, and that's. I thought that was very nice for someone like me who has not seen Supergirl, and honestly, I had always thought, wait, why isn't she showing up for these things? Like, why isn't she doing
I do want to say one thing that I thought was going to happen and it didn't happen.
What?
I thought they were going to finally use this as a way to merge her world into Arrow and Flash with the way they kept altering the universe and he became Superman.
I think they'll do that in the next event.
In Crisis?
I
Just
think in
finally just
Crisis,
merge them all
that
up?
will be when they go, okay, let's actually merge them. Because, I mean, they even say it, the classic
Or
line,
your
worlds will
Metropolis
live,
needs a
worlds will
Supergirl.
die.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Negan basically became like, what was it, post-death of Superman? Where he's like the black Superman? Like, that's basically what he became.
But well, because when they first brought in Batwoman, my original thought was she would either be on Superman's world, because he's mentioned Bruce,
Right.
or she would be in another world. But no, they put her on Arrow and Flash. So I'm kind of like, well, so
Then
that,
where's Superman?
that still leaves Superman and Supergirl as the weird outliers. But now you've established a Batman.
But
How are we gonna
also
make that
don't forget, Nora. There was one episode where when Cicada first showed up, and she's like Cicada never got caught.
Yeah.
You know, and she referenced she's like all these people tried to beat him, like the Justice League couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
So like the Justice League exists in the CW universe.
We just
as
don't know
far as
who's
we're
on
aware.
it.
Well, yeah, we don't know who's on it, but I mean, honestly, the way they're going with this Crisis on Infinite Earths, I wouldn't be surprised if out of that comes the Justice League.
I can
So-
see that. Yeah,
I could see it.
That.
Yeah.
All right,
Because
so let me
they
ask you-
definitely do actually fully verify as well that they don't exist on the planet when they rewrite it the second time, and he's like, there was no page for Kara Danvers, Supergirl, in this.
Yeah.
That's why she's in the prison. Because he's like, you weren't
You're an
in the
anomaly.
book. You are an anomaly. You only
Yeah.
showed up randomly. Since meeting you now, this is the only record we
Yeah.
have of you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird because she's been in the other crossovers.
That
but let's
I
ignore
also
that.
thought as well.
What deal do you guys think Oliver made? We don't know. The deal he made with the Monitor.
I think
Trade his show with Batwoman. No.
honestly, I think Oliver essentially sacrificed his life to become, like, literally to save everybody.
Yeah.
So you
Like, I
he
think,
made
I think,
sort of
I
along
think
the
he made a
season?
deal with the devil that, like, you can't let us slide. Like, you have to save us. You have to give us a chance. You know, and I think it is.
Maybe when the actual Crisis on Infinite Earth happens,
see, I
that's
think-
the end of.
I was
I think
thinking
that it'll happen instead of like Barry
Yeah.
Allen like running so fast and he basically runs himself out of existence. Oliver will sacrifice his
I
life.
think it's going to be
Yeah.
something in Crisis
Yeah.
where
This
the
show
Monitor.
is ending soon. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Their series, this might be the last season.
I think the Monitor will say, like in the high point of the thing, I think there's going to be a moment where the Monitor will be like, Oliver, it's time.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like everyone's going to be like, we need to save you. We got to be able to do this. And
Right.
he's going to be like, no, like I made this deal. You guys are the ones that are capable of saving the planet. When he said I needed to go, I am
was
going
the
to
deal I
have
made.
to sacrifice
Yeah.
myself so that you guys can save
Yep.
the
Exactly.
multiverse.
And here is the reason why. Because Oliver Queen is Batman in CW, and you can't have two. So
No, that-
no, I'm 100%
No, I
serious.
agree with you on-
You
on
cannot
a
have,
level.
you
It's true,
cannot
yeah.
have two Batman. Yeah.
He's
Oh my
also
gosh.
on the flash forwards in the current season. The chat just mentioned that, but that's true. He's not. in
yeah?
it.
I didn't even think about that.
He's not. In, he's gone. And as far as I know, and I've been watching since it started, we haven't said where he is.
Right.
He's just not there.
I mean, maybe he travels. I mean, what
He
if?
joins the Legends.
No, that's where heroes go to die.
Yeah.
they
No,
just
he,
shut him off
he
to the
joins Kid Flash. He's like, where are you? Oh, okay. I'll be there soon.
No. Here's another thing too that they can launch. Don't forget Grant Morrison's Multiversity. Where you've got the
they're not
multiversal.
making that.
No, not making multiversity. But they have
Pulling from
But
it.
they have like
Yeah.
that multiversal Justice League.
Oh, okay.
And if they wanted to like write him out, but still have the door open to bring him back, they could say like
he
that's
shows
where
up
he's
only
going.
in crossovers.
Exactly.
Right,
And
yeah.
he's
cool.
going off to be part of the
Kind of like
multiversal
Captain
Justice
Cold
League
or
and that's
something.
it.
Yeah.
They'll kind of do what it's kind of implying with Superman. He's
Yeah.
clearly somewhere else, but he's far enough away that we're not going to get him until
He's not
something big's
relevant
happening.
to,
Okay.
to what's going on.
Do you guys want to go through the Easter eggs? So there's one that everyone wants us to talk about.
Yes, let's do
Sure.
it.
Somebody say.
Yep.
What?
Smallville!
Remy
So-
Zero.
Oh yeah, the Smallville show.
I got chills.
Yeah,
I legitimately got chills.
yeah. The
they played
Smallville
that.
song.
And they-
Is that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
Yeah.
When it wasn't just the song. It was the song and then the Kent Farm sign.
Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. I got chills.
It's been a while since I've seen the show,
Yeah.
but that was pretty much the same set, wasn't
See,
it?
I never watched Smallville.
I think it was the
so-
same set because
Yeah, I
they
never got
never
into
went
it.
inside the house.
That's why that song was so weird and out of place. It was Smallville's opening theme.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got into it.
It was good. Like it was.
It was before what's going on now.
It was before they knew what they were doing.
Oh, I know. It
Yeah.
was a very popular show.
Yes.
It
I
got
know it had a
really
huge
good like
following.
season 6 on when they started like here's Green Arrow, here's
Yeah.
the League,
Yeah.
here's
Yeah.
Impulse, and it became
Right.
the first couple. It was Monster of the Week when it started,
Yeah.
which was weird
Pretty
because they
much.
were also like he'll never wear the suit and he'll never fly, and I'm like then I'm not watching, and then
Pretty
I ended
much.
up watching
Yeah.
every season. But
Yeah.
I remember when they announced
good.
that he'll never have the suit and he'll never fly, and I'm like why the hell would I watch a Superman show where he
That's
doesn't?
what we're building up to. Like,
Right.
what's the point?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And 4 seasons
Yeah.
were pretty good. So.
All right, let's go through this list.
Yeah.
You want to do the list? Okay, so
Yeah.
you got so the Smallville reference that was nice.
Yep.
So first off, this list is from RottenTomatoes.com. See, this is the
pretty good.
crossover portion. See, on CTV, which you can find on Twitch.tv/Eligible Monster on Mondays, we sit around and we talk about the TV shows very much in this manner.
Or you can get them on our Patreon.
Or on our Patreon.
Patreon.com/Comicstorian, where you can get it over there as well.
And on Comics Experiment, we do a lot of things like look over lists and talk about superheroes and stuff like that. But before we can get there, a portal opens and the ad has been brought. I'm touching you weird.
Yes, you are. Yep.
At this point, you guys know that I'm an avid user of 4Hims. 4Hims is a great product to allow you to keep your hair, have healthy looking skin, and be sexually well at all times. It really does improve your lifestyle overall by giving you ways to just look and feel better. Most of you guys have been here for quite a while, but if you haven't used 4Hims yet and you're enjoying the Rob and Benny experiment, then check it out because you get a free trial month of 4Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. You can check their website for full details, but this would cost you hundreds if you went to the doctor or the pharmacy. Go to 4hims.com/Rob and Benny. That's FORHIMS.com/Rob and Benny. ROBANDBENNY. forhims.com/Rob and Benny. It's definitely something that I recommend because, as I've said with many other products, coming out of the military, I did not know how to take care of myself from a visual perspective. Sure, I know how to work out and sure, I know how to go and buy clothing and stuff like that, but how do you take care of your hair, your skin, and keep yourself very fit with the sexual wellness department? That is 4Hims, guys. And Rob and I both recommend it to you. Portal closes. Welcome back to the episode. And don't forget, if you do want to support us making more of these podcasts, please consider going to our sponsor. We're going to go through the Easter egg portion of our show.
Okay.
All right.
This is a 25. I got the other one still pulled up. We'll go to that in a second. The Rotten Tomatoes one.
Okay.
This one says 25, so I figured we start with this.
All right.
Okay. I love opening. The number one opening of Elseworlds Part 1. Upon waking up in Barry Allen's life, Oliver immediately assumed the Flash screwed something up with the line, "Oh Barry, what have you done this time?"
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I love how whenever something goes wrong, it's always Barry.
Because Barry's always doing the Flashpoint
He's always
thing,
the one.
and, you know,
He's
yeah.
always the one.
Always.
Yeah.
Running over, we have Ivo Labs. So Dr. Ivo, Mazo,
Yep.
Ivo.
Oh
Mazo.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
As soon as I heard Ivo,
When he
was
said
like-
that,
I didn't even make the connection.
no,
when
Yeah,
he
I
said
didn't
it, I was like, why do I know that? Why do I know that? Then the Android show, I'm like, Amazo, Dr.
Amazo.
Ivo.
you
I
know
know
what?
what's going on.
Part of the reason why it was so prominent in my brain who Ivo was because it doesn't get mentioned that often. Injustice
Injustice.
2 used a lot of Ivo.
It's the only reason I know of him too.
Ray Palmer's Nanite. So we do get a reference to Ray. Is he still on
Yep.
the show?
Yep.
Okay.
He is still on Legends. He was a very major part of it.
Is he?
Okay.
Okay. So the nanites to Iris used to knock out Barry. The nice nod to the first piece of Arrowverse universe.
Which I loved when they didn't explain it in the second episode where they're like, no, last time we told everyone what was happening, they knocked us unconscious and put us in prison.
Smallville happens in episode 1. Smallville has been over 7 years since Smallville ended, and for a moment, in one glorious moment, it was alive again. Not only did they shoot on it was the same farm as the
farm,
original
yep.
series.
Was it really?
Yes.
Wow.
But Elseworlds practically recreated the opening credits sweeping shot of Smallville, complete with "Save Me" by Remy Zero blaring through the speakers. It was great. Krypton Shoutouts. Those who keep up with Supergirl know that Lois and Clark have taken a sabbatical to Argo City. However, they also mention the Jewel Mountains of Krypton, hinting at even more House of Elves homeworlds.
Huh.
So I'll give them that.
That was kind of a cool thing that like Lois gets to write about Argo City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Season 1 of Flash, when Oliver put Barry's speed to the test, making him outrun an arrow. The Archer didn't tell his speedster buddy, though, that there were hidden crossbows.
Yep.
This time, Oliver finally knew what it felt to be like as Barry.
Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, I like that one. On Mazo, the meta-replicating android has a history in DC Comics as well as the Arrowverse. When Anthony Ivo appeared on Arrow, he has a ship called the Amazo, which eventually is wrecked on Lan Yu, the island from Arrow.
Yeah.
Lian Yu.
Thank you.
Lian Yu.
Quick comment on the Amazo thing. A lot of people I wanted Amazo to have more. Other people I want Amazo to have less.
I kind of felt like they didn't use him enough.
I thought it was perfectly
For
enough.
a character that powerful, who could duplicate everybody's powers.
But he never gets used that much. That's
I
my
know.
complaint to that.
But I feel like they could have
like-
done more with him.
I feel like it was good that they didn't use too much of him because it allowed them to focus on the actual like full crossover, the full
that's
world.
true.
Because
But then
if
why
he was
even
there
invoke
the
him in
whole
the-
time, they would be like, "Why are we chasing the guy with the book? This guy's Flash, Superman, Supergirl, Arrow
Yeah.
vibe, Killer
But
Frost."
then my question becomes, why even bring Amazo in the first place if that's what they were going to do?
Because
Amazo...
I felt it was a reason to get Superman involved.
I think
Yeah,
it was
but
that too.
Amazo is like a season-wide villain by himself. Like he's. I mean, you could do an entire
but he's not, though.
crossover
I think he's
just
got
with
no
Amazo.
intelligence.
I could see them bringing him back after this, but I feel like in terms of the whole crossover event, it was the perfect way to go, okay, we kind of need Superman and Supergirl for this because we're not going to be able to take care of it.
Because that's what I felt his purpose was. Because normally Supergirl does the crossover herself. There's no need for Superman.
Yeah.
We needed something that would incorporate him because he's so important in the final episode.
I did like that, man, when he just came flying down and just like crushed Amazo into the ground.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and we're done here. And they're
And he
like,
was
no, you're
like
not, though.
several miles below the surface too
Yeah.
when they showed him coming back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't just like in the ground. He was.
Yeah, they're like,
he
no,
was
you're not
down.
quite done yet.
He was
Superman.
literally in the
He
ground.
was
Think about it this
around,
way,
yeah.
Rob. If they didn't have a reason to bring Superman into the first episode, he would have made him, Deegan being him in the last episode would have made almost no sense.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
but there's
Yeah.
a zillion ways they could have done it. You know, Supergirl would have been like, you want to come meet my friends? And he's like, sure.
No, but I
and
think
then
he
just go
needed to
along
see
for
his
the
power
ride.
to want to beat him.
Okay,
See
so I
them
do have
both
a
go.
question about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I do
Oh,
have,
Good point. I actually did not even think of that.
He had to see with them doing what they're doing. Otherwise, why would he want to become these two?
And the look.
Yeah, and the look. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just ideas. I mean,
Yeah.
you're right. I feel like it could have at least been a 2-episode crossover to the Mazo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, Amazo and they could bring him back. But to me, Amazo is a crossover villain in and of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bring
Yeah.
him back for the next one.
Yeah.
Because
I
they
don't- I
did
don't
bring
think
him
he's
back
gone
at the
forever.
very... Yeah, they brought
No,
him back
not at
for the
all.
last
Yeah.
episode where he's
Yeah.
like... They just brought him back
Yeah.
and Brainiac takes off with him.
that was kind of funny. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And he comes back and he's like, hey, so I forgot his heart.
Motherboard.
Pretty much.
Well,
Or
he got his
motherboard,
motherboard,
yeah.
which
Yeah.
means he could easily come back. So.
Yeah.
You have failed the city line. You have to believe that line was a thrill for Gusta, and filling the role for Green Arrow. Oliver may not chastise his enemies with the line anymore, but it's classic Green Arrow at its best.
Oh, I feel like if anyone was Green Arrow, you have to... whenever anyone even references Green Arrow, everyone
have failed
always
the
thinks
city.
of that
The
line.
city.
Joe Wilson. We've seen Joe Wilson, son of Slade Wilson, Arrow before. This time, though, he's wearing his dad's armor, and he's going by the name Kane Wolfman.
Yeah.
The name used by Jericho at one point in DC's lore.
Yeah, which is actually a tribute to Marv Wolfman. But
Is it?
Yeah.
How is it? Oh, from Marv Wolfman?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
oh, you
that's
said
awesome.
I think you said Marvel.
I thought you
No,
said
no,
Marvel
Marv
at first.
Wolfman.
Yeah, I thought you had
Marv.
said it's a tribute
I
to
heard
Marvel.
Marvel. Yeah,
Oh,
I heard
okay,
Marvel.
yeah,
I was
no,
like,
no,
how is it a
Marvel,
tribute to Marvel?
Yeah.
It's a tribute to Marvel because they got Deadpool. I guess. I don't know.
The best Wi-Fi. Okay, can we talk about the Wi-Fi password?
Yes.
I don't
Which
remember the
one was
Wi-Fi
that?
password.
They're in the office, and Kate Kane's like, the Wi-Fi password's Alfred.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
William Shakespeare bust looks familiar. What was this one?
Animus.
Anyone remembers Adam West Batman will also remember he accessed the Batcave through the bust of William Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
so
He
in
lifts
the
it up.
box. Yeah, in the box. When they go into Kate Kane's office, it's sitting in there. Did not catch that.
Me neither.
I love these small ones that
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
very just
Small little
in the
nooks and
background.
crannies.
Yeah,
kind of
also I
thing.
want to go through the list. Batman's greatest foes. So here's the ones that were named
Yes.
while going through the asylum. Cobblepot, Nigma, Carlo, and Isley. Otherwise
Well,
known
no,
as-
they were also infected with Scarecrow's toxin, too.
These
Very-
are just I think he's
Oh,
referring to just the
oh,
names on the
oh,
cells,
okay.
not
Okay.
the evidence room.
And that's Penguin, Riddler, Clayface, and Poison Ivy.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we didn't get to meet any of them.
Yeah. They haven't been cast yet.
That's exactly it. They
Yeah.
had the teeth of the Joker. Well, they had dentures, which people chalked up to the Joker's
I
chattering
didn't see
teeth.
that.
Yeah,
didn't see
that's
that,
when
yeah.
that's when they're in Arkham Asylum, and they're like, it's the same place. It is when Nora Freeze is running through and doing all the stuff.
Okay,
with, like,
it was in
Victor
there with
Freeze's
all
gun.
the other stuff.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
that's
it's-
several
Yeah,
nods. there.
it's like
Yeah.
little things that you
I'm
see on
hoping
the
it
show.
comes up.
I did like
We're
it,
not done with
though.
Arkham. That was just the names of the doors.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
okay.
I liked, even as we go through this, that they're basically going, hey, in Batwoman, these are the people you're going to see.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
exactly.
felt about that.
Yeah.
Marc Guggenheim, the guy one of the big producers for the entire series, he was the name of the door. I will admit, I thought that the Guggenheim was a reference somehow to Solomon Grundy. I forget what his name was, but it felt like it was something related to that.
So that was just to the writer.
That was to the writer.
No,
okay.
Solomon Grundy is
Executive producer and comic book writer.
His
Mark.
name is. It starts
didn't-
with a C. What's Solomon Grundy's name? It's
Yeah, I didn't look much into it. I thought it was a reference to Solomon Grundy.
When that was like one of the few names that I was like, I have no idea who that is.
Cyrus Gold.
Cyrus Gold. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
So I was
Cyrus
way
Gold.
off on that one.
Yeah.
Is that Psycho Pirate? Yeah. For the record, I don't like the mask they chose.
Oh,
It's
dude, it
too
looks fine
small.
to me, man.
Does it?
Yeah, it looks fine to me. I
thought it looked too
I'm
small.
just excited to see Psycho. Like, okay, when they give me Psycho Pirate, I want to see like Psycho Pirate.
That's what
like,
I mean, like-
red, the gold
Oh,
mask.
they will.
The-
I'm
whole
sure
nine
they will.
yards.
The mask
Yeah.
actually, I felt had a little too much Court of the Owls vibe to it.
Okay, that I'll give you.
That,
But I would. But
That's
I'm
why I was a
still
little
okay with
confused when I saw it. My first thought was Psycho Pirate, but then I'm like, but this is Kate Kane. Is this
Yeah.
just a Court of the
it. Well,
Owls?
no, yeah, because what they did is they went and they got one of the masks from the Court of Owls in Gotham,
And they just
spray painted it. That's what they did.
Number 15, The Scarecrow's Gas, which allowed for a
Yeah.
fun
Yes.
cameo by John Barrowman as Arkham Merlin.
I loved that scene
Yeah.
actually because it really opened Oliver's eyes to what the Flash deals with.
Yeah.
And how
Sure.
afterward. Actually,
he
yes.
mentions it,
How
yeah,
did we
he
not
says it,
mention
yeah.
that? The fact that they're at the party and he's like, "No, we are not hugging. You've made me hug you 2 times before. We are toasting."
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
we didn't mention that. That was my favorite line.
Bane's mask. I mean, come on.
Obvious.
Bane's mask
That was
great.
obvious.
Yep.
Yep.
Really
Say
hope we
hello
haven't
to
been
North.
peeking too
Freeze,
much.
yep.
Yeah, we are.
No, I said I hope we haven't. We've
Oh.
been getting very excited
Yeah.
with this.
Say hello to Nora Fries. We don't see Mr. Freeze, but his wife Nora is incarcerated in Arkham and gets her hands on his freeze gun during the chaos caused by Deegan. As a bonus little Easter egg, she's played by Stephen Amell's real life wife, Cassandra Jean Amell.
Okay.
Did not know that actually though.
Interesting.
Her last name is Freeze, by the way.
Yeah, it's not fries.
Not Fries.
He caught himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nor Fries. Nor French
Fries.
Fries.
I said Freeze. It says Freeze right here. So
You
you
said
said
freeze
fries.
for his
First-
gun,
at first
but you
it-
said it's Nora Fries, and
But
then
if
he
you were to
uses
spell
freeze's
fries,
text.
if you were to spell fries, that's how it would be spelled.
That's exactly how you would spell
I'm
it.
saying,
Yeah.
if I. Oh, okay.
You
Here's
said
where it
fries.
says it. Yeah.
You said fries at first.
Yeah.
Because when you
Yeah.
look at it, it's literally the word fries.
Oh, it is.
It's fries,
No,
yeah.
but it's
It is.
literally fries.
But the name.
F-R-I-E-S.
Okay, what
Yeah.
sounds cooler? The name Victor Fries or Victor Freeze?
Victor Fries, the McDonald's villain.
Oh God.
Victor Fries it's just not.
No, I
it's
know,
not-
I
It's
know,
a
I
scary
know.
name. Yeah, you're not. You
But
can't
it's
afraid of
like
that.
because when I'm reading it in a hurry, I'm just reading what it says right there. My bad.
It was just the
Okay.
fact that you said fries and then the next word was freeze that I was
That's
like,
because that's how they wrote it. He can vouch.
no, you're fine, you're fine.
Anyway.
Let's what's
Yeah,
the
The
yeah,
world's
yeah,
finest comment between
Yes.
Batwoman and
Yeah. I
Supergirl.
loved that one.
Yeah.
Which I really want
Yep.
to see that.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
they actually had that for a while. They had a what if. I wouldn't say it was not a what if. It was an Elseworlds line of stories. It was Elseworlds, World's Finest, and it was Batgirl and Supergirl.
What I'm curious about is why we don't get more individual crossovers. Why is it always got to be everyone? Why can't it be
I
like-
imagine they might explore that. Like I think that's kind of why they dropped the World's
I'm sure
Finest
they will,
because
yeah.
we'll get like a Batgirl Supergirl
think so,
crossover.
too.
They had.
on the
They've had
I'm
several
wondering-
individual crossovers.
Yeah, I'm wondering
yeah.
if that's actually going to lead to potentially once Batwoman is out, they're mostly going to do a
Supergirl.
Flash and Arrow crossover, Supergirl and Batwoman
Probably.
crossover.
Yeah, and I would be so down for
Okay,
that.
is Kate Kane actually Bruce Wayne's cousin?
Yeah.
Okay. When she said that, part of me was like,
Yeah, she's actually related to him.
It's one of the weirdest things in comic books. It's one of those things where it's like, Bruce Wayne has no family at all.
Yeah.
And then like she shows up, this is my cousin. Well,
Yeah.
you just told me you got no
Yeah.
family.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
not like immediate family.
Right, and then she's leaves and he's like, I don't have any family anymore. Like, you just, Kate Kane.
Yeah.
Right, except her.
Yeah, she's extended family.
And then my uncle, you know.
I saw you at the family reunion last year.
Yeah.
Like,
My only family is Alfred. And Kate Kane.
I
and
was
Kate
his-
Kane, right?
I was your Secret Santa 2
Yeah.
years ago. Come on.
so you got a cousin. That tells me you've got like aunts and uncles.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's going on here, Bruce? Yeah.
Anyway, my favorite Easter egg in the entire series. What ring does John wear on Earth 90? Oh, I see that you're not wearing your ring.
Yes.
Now, I feel that was a nod. Early in Arrow, there was a fan theory that Diggle was this universe's Jon Stewart.
Yep.
And that when we got all the early Green Lantern cameo stuff.
He looks the part, man.
Right.
Yeah,
and
he
that was
does.
what everyone
Yeah.
thought.
And they even, I liked it because it's very clear that he was referencing the fact that he is Jon Stewart on their Earth, because he even goes, John, you look different without your ring. Like they even say John
okay.
without saying the last name. Like
Now that you explain it, it makes sense because when he first said it, it was so quick. I just didn't quite.
It's a nod to that fan. So what you probably don't know is Flash and Arrow started dropping hints of Carol Ferris Airways.
Yeah.
Going
There was
over
one
to
point
Coast
where
City.
Barry, he ran to Central, or to
Coast
City.
City, yeah, to get a pizza.
Yeah, to get a pizza. Yeah.
But they keep referencing the existence of Coast City. Coast City is where Green Lantern Hal Jordan is from.
Okay.
That's his whole history.
Yep.
So a popular fan theory was that John Diggle was this universe's version of Jon Stewart, and that and that eventually a ring would arrive, and that's how he's going to leave the show.
I'm not sure if it was real or if it was a fan art, but there was actually a tweet of someone who photoshopped, or at least I guess now it's photoshopped. I thought it was actually going to happen in the crossover of Diggle as Jon Stewart Green Lantern, and I was like, oh my god, it looked
I want to say I've
amazing.
seen that before.
Yeah, it's floated around for years.
It looked so good.
One of my favorite lines, though, because everyone knows I'm a huge fan of the Green Lantern. So if we could have ever even get and I love that it was the Flash that dropped that line.
Which one?
The one about the ring. So because it would be the Flash and Green Lantern.
Yeah,
you know?
it would be.
Yep.
Okay, number 20. Who are the Trigger Twins? At the end of part 2, Oliver and Barry's reality is changed to make them the criminal duo Trigger Twins.
Trigger Twins.
Okay.
I'm going to read this in a second, but I will say I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know Grant Gustin in that outfit looked hilarious.
You couldn't take him seriously.
I could not take
No.
him seriously. He looked
No.
like someone who was trying to be a biker on Halloween.
Yeah.
And I
It's true.
loved it.
Yeah.
The pair are actually criminals from All-Star Western, a book that was released in 1951. They've since appeared a few times in DC Comics lore.
Interesting.
Okay.
Superman's black suit. The black Superman suit is a long comic book history, meaning one of two things. The purpose of the Elseworlds is that this version is Superman Deegan becomes. The black suit is a kind of an Easter egg in itself. He used it multiple times. Hey, look, it's Gary. Legends of Tomorrow are off. Is that who that is? That's
Yes, Gary. That's the Gary that
That's
I
who
always
that
talk
is.
about.
Okay.
He's in there, and I loved that
Okay.
he even makes a Legends reference.
Does he?
Or he says something. He's like, "Oh my gosh!" He goes, "You guys, my heroes." Well, I guess not heroes. More like legends.
Now that makes sense.
Yes,
He's
that makes
obsessed with
sense.
the Legends of Tomorrow. He's
Yep.
part of the Time Bureau. I loved that part.
The introduction of Superman's Fortress of Solitude in Elseworlds was an exciting moment. See, I didn't know this was only in here. I wasn't sure how much Superman was only in Elseworlds and how much had already kind of shown up.
Yeah.
Okay, can we also reference the when Flash later they're like, yeah, he calls it his Fortress of Solitude. I was just at the Fortress of Solitude.
It's like we're going back there again. Yep.
But the introduction of the Fortress is an exciting moment. The design of the Fortress is clearly inspired by Superman the movie, as is Lois Lane's gown. She appears at the end of the crossover.
Why did they have Mjolnir's hammer?
I actually looked that up because everyone wants to know what the hammer was.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's some weird reference to an old school Superman comic.
Oh.
Because I was like, what is that from?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. Yeah.
And apparently it's not even in the show. They've never had it.
Yeah, and she just all of a sudden jumps out and flashes the light. And
Yeah.
they're like, okay.
Yeah.
That does that.
The solution is right out of Superman the movie. Another nod to Superman the movie. The Flash and Supergirl speed around the world in opposite directions to slow down time. It makes about as much sense as it does in the movies, but it's still fun to watch.
Yeah. The fact that I knew it was a reference
Yeah.
is what made it passable.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
If you didn't know
could-
the reference, you would do exactly what everyone did in the first movie.
You're going to destroy the Earth if you do
Yeah.
that. Like,
It's like slowing down the Earth rotation doesn't slow down time. It just slows down the Earth's rotation.
one side will become really hot and the other side freezing cold. You're going to destroy everything. Yeah.
And then, of course, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
The word
Worlds
Crisis
will
is thrown
live,
throughout the
worlds
crossover
will
leading up to
die.
the final tease coming in that the CW is tackling Crisis on Infinite Earth, which is one of the most massive events in DC Comics
They've been
history.
teasing that since season 1 of The
Well,
Flash.
I want to take a moment here. For every one of the fans that have watched Comicstorian for 5 years and have gone, Benny, when are you going to do the Crisis on Infinite Earths? then. I will do it
Yeah.
next year.
year.
When this happens, I will do Crisis on Infinite Earths.
You gotta do the tie-in with Earth Prime, man.
God damn it, don't add to it. I'm
Yeah.
taking this long to get to it.
Yeah, like the origin of Superboy Prime. Yeah.
Oh man.
I was waiting for something to happen because it is such an iconic storyline.
Yeah.
For some reason, for me to do it.
Yeah. And now we got a perfect reason.
Yep. Okay, so that's their list on it.
I wonder how they're gonna handle the Anti-Monitor.
I
What
don't
if
know.
Oliver
Let's see
Queen-
if they have anything new here.
Oliver Queen becomes
That's
the
the
Anti-Monitor?
deal. Oliver Queen.
No, okay,
how would that work?
dude, I know what they would do with Oliver Queen. I bet I
Okay.
know what he did with Oliver Queen.
What is
that?
it? What is
Okay,
it? What's
during
your
the
theory?
story of Crisis on Infinite Earths, there was what was her name? What was that? There was that girl's name. She was tasked with traveling around the multiverse and finding what was left of the heroes. That was her job.
I got
No.
more Easter eggs because the other list has different ones.
Oh, okay.
So I guess the salmon ladder, whether he's like clunk, clunk.
Yeah,
Apparently that hasn't been in the show. I didn't even think about it, but yeah, it hasn't been in the show in a while.
I love that Flash was so.
Yeah.
Grant
Please get off the
Gustin's
ladder.
reactions to everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we already went over it.
Classic.
Like his reactions
Oh.
to everything until realizing that Oliver woke up with Iris. He
Yeah.
was so like, oh my god,
He was
this
in
is
his
so
own
fun.
little world
Well, he's
until
always
It
Yeah.
felt like,
Arrow.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it felt like what anyone would do if they, because let's be honest, Arrow is Batman in
Right.
the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
It felt like what anyone would do if they became Batman. They'd be like, oh my god, I get to do this, I'm doing
Yeah.
this.
Apparently, the pipeline is a prison was a nod once again to the fan theories.
Yep.
What's the morality of the pipeline? Yes, it is a secret prison by the Flash.
Yeah, because even
Well, yeah, they've
he's
mentioned
like, this
that
is
in
a
like
prison,
every
right?
season. Yeah.
I think
Almost
it's more
every
of the
season-
reference, though.
Yes. Well,
Of
yes.
the wait,
He actually
you put him in
brings it up.
prison?
They
No,
actually
it's
bring it
more
up.
of a dampener that we put our so it's a prison.
It's a
So it's a prison.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's a
guess
prison.
it's a prison.
And I think that's it. They've never established like it is a prison. It's always
Yeah.
like we just nullify people.
It's just a holding space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Batwoman situation. Batman is an urban legend. Plays off of all the stuff that's been going on.
You still think there were so many good lines. I still love the I'm the original vigilante.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of cool because that was a nod to the idea that Green Lantern or Green Arrow was the one who like launched the CW thing or the Batman.
That
concept,
and
so-
that he was Batman because they couldn't use Batman.
Because-
Was
which I
it
love.
Green Arrow or Flash that came first?
Green Arrow.
Green
Arrow.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Arrow.
It was Arrow
Yeah.
because that's when you actually got Grant Gustin to show up as Barry Allen. Then he goes back, gets hit by the lightning. That's why
Yeah.
Felicity
Yeah.
leaves for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here you go. Here's some other ones. Apparently, that piece of artwork at the end of that showed Wayne Tower
Yeah.
was drawn by Jim Lee.
No way.
Damn.
It's a Jim Lee drawing.
The one that Oliver Queen holds up and
Yeah,
says like,
yeah,
we have to go to
Where he
God.
just walks
Yeah.
over and
Wow.
does the I Am Legend thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go through these lists. Keep
Not
talking.
I Am
I'll keep
Legend,
pulling these
I
up to find
Robot. I always mix those up.
them. Red
They're
skies
both
are
Will
obviously
Smith movies.
the red skies are a sign that something bad is happening in the Arrowverse. It's a callback to the same thing we've had. Flash goes missing in Crisis.
Well, yeah, it's also the in that. Okay.
Yeah, it's-
you're
it's a
talking about
constant.
the newspaper thing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're building
Towards
up.
the end, Wade and Augustine are given a shout out too, which is only fitting as Mark Wade is one of the prominent. Rob, help me.
Prominent.
There you go. No, it's not prominent.
Preeminent.
Preeminent. There you go.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Flash
Not being
writers for
able to
DC
see
Comics and Brian Augustine wrote the first ever Elseworlds storyline, Batman and Gotham and Gaslight.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, yeah,
That's a good animated film on DC Universe.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Waid, the original Flash. Not the original Flash guy, but yeah. He's the one that made he made Wally West popular.
Yeah.
Her first appearance, Batwoman's first appearance as the final scene is actually a callback to her first appearance in the comic books, 2006's 52, number 10, when Kate Kane is standing atop a building in the final panel, just like she does at the end of the first episode.
Huh.
Great.
That's the other thing they're missing too. They're missing Countdown to Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah.
So does that mean we're gonna get like 52 week? We're just gonna get nothing but like a show, like just a giant 52 week long crossover between all the characters.
Vesper Fairchild, that woman that Oliver may or may not have slept with until they realized he had slept with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the comics-
So you slept with her? I don't know.
She was romantically linked to Bruce Wayne before being killed by David Kane, a hired assassin for Ra's al Ghul.
Oh.
This is a really deep dive.
Yes,
Is
it
this
is.
the Rotten Tomatoes one?
This is Digital Spy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the most obvious shoutouts we've seen is the cops calling for a backup from Nolan and Burton, referencing Christopher Nolan and Tim Burton.
Damn.
I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
one.
I didn't even
Yeah.
catch that either. Wow.
When Kara meets Kate, she explains that her cousin is frenemies with Bruce Wayne Batman. This, of course, references the complicated relationship between Batman and Superman. Something that feared prominently in the recent movie Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Later, the pair are talked about as the world's finest. Okay. The bona fide bat signal is a callback to the TV show since Batman in the 60s. Arkham Asylum stuff on top of the evidence room. Oh, it had... It not only was Bane's mask there, apparently... Penguin's umbrella, and Hugo Strange's sunglasses, and the Riddler's cane, including Riddler graffiti that asks what is blue, gray, and red all over. More obvious nods are the Scarecrow Fear Talks and Mr. Freeze's gun.
What's blue, gray, and red all over?
I don't know.
A dead Batman? I don't know.
Seeing the 1990s Flash deliver the message. Yep, we already got that one down. And then we get the Trigger Twins. Then in part 3, Deegan becomes the evil version. That's the black suit reference. Yep. The Legends of Tomorrow may have ignored the calls for help from our troubled heroes, but they didn't stop Gary. Supergirl and Flash saved the day by running. Okay, that was also already covered. Darker chapter. Oh, the final chapter of Elseworlds is also inspired by the darker chapter of Superman's time on screen when he threatens to snap Barry's neck, just as Supes did to General Zod in Man of Steel.
That's right.
And then he becomes Dr. Destiny. And then subtle references, and then, of course, Psycho Pirate. Okay, cool. I think at this point we must have covered every Easter egg.
Yeah,
I'm very curious how many times these people watch the show to find all these Easter eggs.
Oh, dude.
That's what I'm wondering.
Or they just,
dude,
or they
probably
just
have
text people and
teams of
say,
people.
exactly, saying like, all right, what did you catch? What did you catch? Because I'm sure there's more.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
I'm sure
There's so many of them, though, where it's like, how did at least that one person catch it?
They just
like, there's some like that where you're like...
Like, you're probably, I mean, like, for the first, like, that's one of the reasons why you see Rotten Tomatoes, which will give you, like, a handful of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Then you have another website that'll give you a handful of Easter eggs. Then Digital Spy consolidates them all down.
Exactly.
And it's like,
Yeah, and that's
all
why
these
bigger
Easter eggs.
figures were going.
Yeah.
I
Here's
can
all
see
the
that.
giant Easter eggs, yeah.
sources, yeah.
Or like this is where multiple were. Let's rewatch that scene multiple times because there's probably stuff
Yeah, you
in the
gotta slow it
background.
down. It takes a
or-
few minutes, but you can slow it down.
I'm sure there was probably an Easter egg where when Flash is throwing everyone back in their cells of things being in people's cells to identify who they were. I bet there would be Easter
Let's
eggs.
go
with
frame
that.
by frame. All right, well, I think that... What more do you guys want to say about Elseworlds? Rob, your final thoughts.
I enjoyed it. It's definitely the best crossover CW's done so far.
Yep.
Among all the various superheroes they have.
Yep.
It makes me excited, not necessarily for Crisis on Infinite Earths. I am excited for it. It makes me excited for what comes after. Because I don't know how deep they're going to go. If it's just the Monitor, or if it's like Grant Morrison's Final Crisis, where there's like monitors and like bunches of them, one monitoring every single universe. Which begs the question: why didn't anybody stop this guy? So it's exciting for me. What it also kind of feels like though, is it feels like they're consolidating down the entire television line.
Yep.
Because Crisis on Infinite Earths would lead to like you'd have. I mean, when Psycho Pirate says worlds will live, worlds will die. Then it's just like, okay, so basically like they cancel Gotham. They cancel everything that's
No,
not
Gotham's
on
last
TV.
season's about to air.
Do what?
Gotham's last season's about to air.
Oh, is it?
It's
Okay,
already
yeah.
done.
Okay, yeah, so Gotham being done. So then it's like, okay, well, what happens next? Well, then Gotham gets wiped away. Gets wiped off the books. Like anything that's not part of CW and not part of the lineup gets wiped off the books. Post-Crisis, they don't necessarily reboot, but they kind of pick and choose what they want to keep. So like, Barry Allen may be gone as a Flash, bring somebody in to replace him. Bring in like red-haired Wally West or somebody like that. There's a lot of stuff that they can do, but they can kind of...
Heck, they could use it to just retcon some stuff in. Oh no, Batman's normal. Batwoman's been around forever. She's been friends with all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Superman's in the right universe.
They can hard
John
and soft
Diggle is
reboot
John
everything.
Stewart. You can easily fix a lot of different things.
Yeah, they can hard and soft reboot their own universe. So it's I'm pretty excited for Crisis on Infinite Earths and what comes after for CW. So.
Okay. Dan, what are your final thoughts on the Elseworlds crossover?
I thought it was really good. It made me actually, even though I probably won't, because I just don't really have the time, it made me interested in like Arrow. As just as just watching Flash and Legends and Titans, it made me go, maybe I should throw Arrow in there. Probably won't because I don't have the time, but it did make me curious. I loved all the Easter eggs. I loved the entire event as a whole. It was an amazing event. I loved it.
Yeah.
Gary, no one cares. No, what are your final thoughts?
I care.
Wow.
I thought it was fantastic. I would agree with all of you. It's their best crossover event yet. I think they know what they're really figuring out how to do these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
They're kind of learning as they go.
Yeah, and my favorite part, honestly, was Gotham. It was because it felt like they were going into another show that already existed that I just haven't watched yet.
That was the best part about it.
Yeah, because it was so there were so many layers of story there. that I felt like it was another show that I just haven't been watching.
The other thing I actually want to say with the Gotham is I liked that because it became the neutral zone.
Yeah.
It no longer was, we're focused on the Flash, we're focused on Arrow, we're focused on Supergirl. Gotham was, all of them have equal parts, they are in Gotham.
Yes.
Well, that's what I enjoyed the most about this, because even on Crisis on Earth X was still Arrow, Supergirl, whatever. Yes, they all went in their slots, and yes, they all had the tone of each of the shows, but they literally call them, if you go to the website, Elseworlds Part 1, Elseworlds Part 2, Elseworlds Part 3, and they're treating it like, kind of like it was almost like Crisis on Earth X was like a test bed. Can we just kind of make a standalone event kind of a deal that kind of crosses into them all?
Right.
And this was like them going, no, it did work. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Because while each like Flash felt like Flash and Arrow felt like Arrow and Supergirl felt like Supergirl, at the same time, no one got stunted. It wasn't like the Invasion episode where like the Arrow episode is all about Arrow.
Yes.
And the Flash episode's all about Flash.
Yeah.
You know, because the Invasion crossover, I think, was the worst now that we've done these, because that was just each show and they all jump into each other, but you didn't get to see a lot of Supergirl and Arrow.
Yeah, but what you're saying is like Elseworlds is Elseworlds.
Yeah.
It's its own thing.
Yeah.
Even though it uses these other shows as like launching pads for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's that, guys. That is our opinions on the Elseworlds crossover, and I'm really curious as to what you think. If you're watching us live, stick around. We're going to be doing a live Q&A following this. But if you're watching this on YouTube, let me know in the comments down below whose opinion is the worst. Because we all had different opinions. I got a feeling I'm going to get voted the worst, but we'll see. And let me know what you guys thought about the crossover event in general. If you are watching this on YouTube, we film Comics Experiment every Thursday at about 2 p.m. Eastern over on twitch.tv/EligibleMonster. And if you enjoy our discussions of the TV shows, our CTV show, we do that on Mondays at the same location, twitch.tv/EligibleMonster. Both of these shows you can get on our Patreon, patreon.com/Comicstorian, which is how we get through all the rough times here on YouTube. That's the only place other than Twitch that you will get CTV at this point, and Comics Experiment does go up there early. Once again, if you did, for whatever reason, skip the beginning, CTV no longer gets uploaded to YouTube because it just damages our analytics, and we can't help that. So we are still doing it. It is still getting uploaded over to our Twitch and over to our Patreon. And don't forget about our sponsor today, which is another way that we keep these lights on. Otherwise, we are talking to you in the dark. That is forhims.com/Rob and Benny, where you can get wonderful skincare products, wonderful hair care products, and you can get sexual wellness. Gary uses it. He's got like 9 kids on the way.
Yeah.
It's a rough estimate. Yeah.
It's a rough estimate.
I'm retconning what I just said. You have 7 kids on the way, and he's naming them after the 7 doors.
Oh. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Sleepy, happy, grumpy, dopey, sneezy, bashful Doc. Yeah, man.
And Eleanor.
Yeah, dude.
That was impressive.
That was impressive.
There was no hesitation whatsoever in that.
Anyway, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want more Rob, go check him out at Comics Explained. He's got that handle everywhere you go. Gary is at Film Circuit on YouTube, and Gary Camphor on Twitter. Dan is at Dan T Producer on Twitter, and Silo91 on Twitch. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch or anything, you kind of know where you can find me, but it's Comicstorian if somehow you found me without coming to the channel. Please subscribe, as we will bring you more of these episodes every Saturday, and next week we're going to be talking about Spider-Man and Aquaman. We might as well do both next week.
Might as well. Yeah. Might as well.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time right here at Comics Experiment /CTV.
Peace.